Om. 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 Sai Ram.
Sairam, everybody.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's a privilege today to have Brother Amar Vivek with us today. Brother Amar has been a first batch MBA pass out of the 1986 to 88 in the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, and one of the students who was personally blessed and guided by Bhagwan multiple times. He has been a student of Bal Vikas also prior to joining Swami's University. Has also been a member of the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organizations earlier. And some of his notable achievements definitely include receiving from the Prime Minister of India the National Youth Award in 1987. He also accompanied the Prime Minister of India to the Festival of India at the then USSR in 1988. But what has been, what he always cherishes is the fact that he was fortunate to be guided by Bhagwan, and has been involved in multiple service activities which today have all grown up and served as an inspiration to many generations of Sai students. So he has been involved with a vocational training center, a free hospital, and also a school at Darwa village in Haryana, all under the aegis of what's known as the Jagriti efforts there. Most recently, as part of COVID care and COVID relief activities, Brother Amar Vivek was also involved with the Chandigarh Himachal helpline, and very importantly, in setting up a 50-bedded state-of-the-art COVID care facility, which was absolutely one of its kind in the village, where the focus was not just on providing medical care, but on a lot of focus was also on spiritual welfare and making the patients feel positive, feel much better about themselves, and thereby improving their prospects of quick and rapid healing. Professionally, he also has served as the additional advocate general Haryana at High Court of Punjab and Haryana, and someone who comes with tremendous humility and at the same time a lot of professional experience and great background, both professionally and in seva. Very happy to have you on this call, Brother Amar Vivek, and we're all eagerly looking forward to listen to you on the topic, which is life has acquired meaning with Sai. Thank you for joining in, brother. Over to you, Brother Amar Vivek.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My most revered salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Mother Sai. And Sai Ram to all very loving sadhakas who are with us. Well, when brother asked me the topic, I couldn't think of anything else other than mentioning that our life itself has acquired a new meaning with Bhagwan. I'll tell you something which happened, my first ever, I would say, physical meeting with Bhagwan in Parthi. That was 18th September 1986. After we had joined our MBA program, which started on 21st August 1986. So Bhagwan was coming towards me, and as he came to me and asked me, "What's your name?" I said, "Bhagwan Amar Vivek." with a lot of emphasis, when I use the word Amar Vivek, Bhagwan directly looked into my eyes and said, Hamara Vivek? And then with twinkling eyes, he said, if you are pure, you are mine. If you are not pure, I hammer Vivek. That itself was the most significant ever incident in my life. I could have never imagined being called Hamara Vivek by Bhagwan. And ever since then, it has been not only the most cherished moment, most cherished name. Whenever I tell somebody I am Amar Vivek, I remember that I am Hamara Vivek. And Sai is always there. Sai's presence is always there around me at that time. So this is why I say, because I remember so many times Bhagwan telling us, when Bhagwan would walk down to our classroom in 1986 to take our classes, as the first batch was fortunate of MBA to physically have Bhagwan in our classroom. And Bhagwan would always say that you are big zeros. But when you prefix her, that is Mother Sai, then you become heroes. So we are all heroes of Bhagwan. And I know one thing for sure. If we ask anything to Bhagwan, if we ask Bhagwan anything which we pray, that will be instantaneously granted. The only question is what we are asking, how we are asking. And for this purpose, I cannot forget one incident which took place many decades back when Bhagwan had taken Kasturi ji for a discourse in a remote village. And by the time they reached there, Kasturi ji was stunned to see very dark clouds hovering all around, as if there was going to be a torrential rain. And Bhagwan asked Kasturi ji to deliver a talk just ahead of his discourse. And Kasturi ji's heart was all pit-pat, and he could not see the plight because he saw such a big crowd, overwhelming crowd. And at every nook and corner, on every tree, on every rooftop, on every, probably the tank, he saw crowd was there to see Bhagwan, to hear Bhagwan. And when he was looking at the sky, which was ready to pour down, he was having shivers down his spine that if it rains so heavily, how Bhagwan's meeting would progress. And at that time, he narrated the incident that earlier in point of time, when Bhagwan had gone to a place, it had rained very heavily. It would have rained very heavily, but Bhagwan prevented the rain. So as Kasturi ji concluded his talk and resumed his seat, and Bhagwan rose to deliver his discourse, the first thing Bhagwan said was, this Kasturi who spoke just now and narrated the incident of rain to you, he himself did not have the faith that I will stop the rain here. Let me tell you, when I am there, nothing else will disrupt. So this meeting will go on uninterrupted by rain. And Bhagwan went on to speak for more than 1.5 hours. And thereafter, Bhagwan concluded by saying, all of you go back, reach your houses in next 20 minutes, because thereafter it is going to be heavy rain, which will continue for quite some time. Meaning thereby, do we have the faith that what we are asking Bhagwan will actually be granted to us by Bhagwan? That is the most important lesson that Bhagwan has been teaching us all along. And not through one example, I would say each one of us who is here, we have those stories with us, that when we ask Bhagwan with the sincerity, with the faith, he grants it. So it so happened that in my initial days in the college, at university, Bhagwan was not talking to us for a few days, and there were, just vacations ahead of the Shara break. And we were all stressed out that why Bhagwan was not talking. So at that time, somebody gifted me a book, Sai Satcharitra, on Shirdi Baba's life, and asked me to read that book in 7 days by telling me that any wish could be granted by the Parayanam of that book. And I was religiously reading that book. Probably the coming Thursday, I would have concluded it and the colleges were to reopen thereafter. So I finished reading the entire book by next Thursday, the 7th day. At that time, a thought occurred in my mind that at any other place, I would have distributed prasadam after the Parayanam. But here in Puttaparthi, in a hostel, what could I do? And then I thought that maybe, okay, during lunchtime, paisam would be served. So what I will do is that I'll rush from the college, go to the dining hall, catch hold of the paisam tub, and that day I'll serve paisam. That was my plan. And when lunchtime, I rushed to the dining hall. Nobody else had reached there except our teacher in charge. That time, Kote sir was there, Lakshmi Narayan Kote sir. He was standing there. And the moment I entered dining hall, he asked me, Amar, are you free for some time? I have some work. So I was taken aback. I said, now the Kote sir is going to give me some work. And my plan would foil. So I was a bit hesitant to say yes. And noticing me, he said, okay, if you are busy, don't worry, I'll give work to somebody else. I was looking for a senior boy. Then I immediately gathered my wits and I said, sir, I am here. Please give me any work. I am here. Please give me. So he took me inside the kitchen, showed me boxes of sweets. He said, Bhagwan has sent these sweets. Please distribute them. I just could not believe my ears and eyes. Because what greater proof would Bhagwan give us repeatedly that just ask and I'll give you. So this is how Bhagwan has laid down the foundations of his own presence in us. In fact, I have been thinking over for a long time now that Bhagwan has announced that his third incarnation would be Prema Sai. Who's that Prema Sai? As per my understanding, we are all Prema Sai. The Prema, the love, the Seva must flow from us. And when that flows, and when Bhagwan has said repeatedly that I have all through been saying my life is my message, but a time will come when your life will be my message. Probably that is Prema Sai age. So unless our lives become his life, our lives become his message, we cannot experience that Prema. We cannot experience that Prema Sai. Because I cannot countenance or imagine any other incarnation walking amidst us. Maybe this is my feeling. So what happened that during the stay at Puttaparthi, a strong root had started growing within me that I must set up a school, hospital, and a vocational school free of cost in a village after I finished my education here. And this is what happened when I finished my education in 1988. One day, Bhagwan called all of us debating boys for an interview. Again, that was probably 13th August 88. He took my hand in his own hands and asked me, तुम इधर रुक रहे, भगवान इतना प्रेम दिया तुमको, इतना तुम्हारा को thousands of mother का love दिया. You got free education, best of the education. What will you give me in return? I was taken aback. I did not know how to answer. But the love in Bhagwan's eyes was so majestic that I was overwhelmed. And I instantly replied, Bhagwan, anything. Anything what you say. And Bhagwan's grip grew firmer on my hands and he said, anything, promise? I said, yes, Bhagwan. And Bhagwan said, don't bring bad name to me. This is all I want from you. Just see. What is Bhagwan asking from us in return? तुम मेरा विभूति लगा के बाहर जाता? ऐसा नहीं बोलना कि साई स्टूडेंट ये किया, बस इतना नहीं मुझको चाहिए. अच्छा करना, सेवा करना, यही मुझको चाहिए. So, can we not say, and we must say, I would say, that our lives have changed. They have acquired new meaning after we have been at Bhagwan's feet. And I can very reverentially say, it is very humbling experience for me how Sai Jagriti came into existence. I was barely 24 when I had passed out from Bhagwan's Institute. The moment I passed out, I got an invite from Government of India for undergoing an international course of 1 year for which I had never applied. I was nominated as a Government of India nominee, 7 nations youth and rural development course for 1 year. I was able to visit some 7 countries, Southeast Asian countries, where I was given orientation of a rural development model. Based upon that, I was able to draw a project report. With that, I came to Bhagwan in 1989. I had named it Jagriti. I presented that to Bhagwan, that there will be a hospital, there will be a school, there will be a vocational school, and how it will be. Bhagwan looked at it, took pen, and wrote words Sri Satya Sai Gramin above word Jagriti. He named it Sri Satya Sai Gramin Jagriti and explained to me the meaning of every word. He said, Sri Satya Sai is your companion. Gram is your dham, and Jagriti is going to be your calm. So this is how Bhagwan virtually, gave me the motto, gave me the object that how we were to go about it. And that is how this journey started. I could never imagine that the journey would start in this manner. Kindly hold on for a moment. There is some disturbance. Please. Extremely sorry for the interruption. So that's how I showed to Bhagwan the first index page on which I had indicated that 27 acres land is required. I showed it to Bhagwan. I said, Bhagwan, we need 27 acres land for this project. He kept his hand on my shoulder and said, Bangaru, you need my hand. You don't need land. You see, Bhagwan's plan is at a very different plane. We cannot even think that how many years Bhagwan is ahead of us. We just cannot imagine. And finally, I ended up landing in Karnataka Express that night to board the train back to Delhi. When in my compartment, I saw some people sitting there and telling me that they had been present in the darshan hall that evening and they had seen Bhagwan speaking to me, looking at the papers, and they inquired what all it was about. And those gentlemen were from Yamunanagar in Haryana. They invited me to Yamunanagar. We went to this village. We met the headman. We asked him that we will be setting up a free school, hospital, and a vocational school. And he instantly said, I have 27 acres land which I am ready to gift it to you. So I could not imagine the way things were happening. They were just beyond me. I simply prayed to Bhagwan. They drew the resolution in next about 2 hours time, handed me the resolution. At that time, I read the name of the village, Darwa, D-A-R-W-A, Darwa. It was a different sounding name. I inquired from the Sarpanch, headman, as to what was the meaning of this word Darwa. He told me something very shocking. He said, Darad in Hindi means snake holes. This land was full of darads, snake holes, due to which it acquired name Daradawa, Daradawala. By now, I was shivering because I knew word Puttaparthi has the same meaning. So Bhagwan had planned everything. When master plans, then where is the scope for any doubt? Where is the scope for not even fitting ourselves into the master plan or laying down our own plan in front of the master plan? I remember when with that resolution I went to Parthi. I had been holding it in my hand and Bhagwan was coming towards me. My monkey mind had a strange thought that I should have translated it into English, that was in Hindi, to show it to Bhagwan. And Bhagwan came and pointed towards the date. Look at the date. And my monkey mind thought that probably the date figures were the only figures which Bhagwan could read. The creator of the resolution, and I am doubting in my mind as a language barrier. Do you know what is this date? Bhagwan asked me. That day was Guru Purnima. Oh, yes, Bhagwan. Do you know the significance of Guru Purnima? Guru Purnima means I take a vow that so long as the wishes of my child will not be fulfilled, sun will not set. Jao, kaam karo. And then another foolish question I mustered strength to ask Bhagwan. Bhagwan, can we construct boundary wall around this land? And Bhagwan, in the same style, saying Pichoda, no construction. No buildings. Seva, love, sadhana. Your job is to do seva, love, sadhana. I will do the rest. And that is how Sri Satsai Gramin Jagriti came into being in the year 1990, where we have set up this free school, hospital, and a vocational school. I would say that every moment which we are living over there is a live example of Bhagwan himself performing each of the tasks. Yes, one thing which Bhagwan told us at that time, he said that progress of this project is directly proportionate to your own evolution. It's we who have to evolve. So Bhagwan could very well do it himself. But why Bhagwan wants us to do is to enable us to evolve in his kingdom. More than that, when I have been seeing Bhagwan's presence, I also found something that in my professional career as an advocate, practicing advocate, where also I had number of experiences of presence of Bhagwan all through, I also found phenomenal growth therein. Meaning thereby, while doing Bhagwan's काम, Bhagwan was giving me so much in my profession, which ordinarily I would not have been able to achieve with all my capabilities, so-called energies or strength. So where we are, we cannot imagine that the path or the place where we are today, that's the
It's
gift
21 hours.
which Bhagwan has given us. We could have never imagined. I mean, if I look at it in the hindsight, the miracle which has happened, because Bhagwan has all through been saying that the only mode of devotion I prescribe is transformation. You have to transform yourself to be a better and still better human being. That's the only thing. So the question is this: do we ask ourselves that are we actually in a mode where we are, through our actions, through our work, radiating Bhagwan's love? I know once we ask this question to Bhagwan, that there is a drop of water and there is an ocean. You are the ocean, we are like a droplet. There is no comparison. But Bhagwan said, no, droplet is from ocean. It has the same qualities which the ocean has. Only thing is, it has to believe that. I certainly know, we all know, how Bhagwan's alumni spread over to various nooks and corners, be it Bangalore, be it Delhi, be it other places, Odisha, how they are able to virtually carry out the same work which Bhagwan himself has been doing. That's possible only because Bhagwan is doing it. It's not a human effort. So I would say that it is for us to ponder over this fact that Bhagwan's Shakti, Bhagwan's grace is constantly on us. But are we able to visualize this? Do we have time to stop, think over, and just bask in that glory? Because I'm sure all of us in last 40, 45, 50 days during COVID would have experienced this. Here sitting in Chandigarh, we have been getting calls throughout night. Somebody requires ventilator, somebody is requiring or oxygen bed, somebody is requiring ICU. Well, we have not set up a hospital of that magnitude. It's an L2 hospital with oxygen beds, but we don't have ventilators. But at 3 in the night, somebody calls me and asks me, "Sir, can you arrange ICU? Can you arrange ventilator?" What do you tell them? You cannot say sorry. But yes, one thing which I did, praying to Bhagwan, that Bhagwan, I will pray to you. Please do whatever you can. The moment I would get a distress call, I would simply go into prayers. And I have seen those prayers being answered in next 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I was inspired once in the night at 3 to send a tweet to the Prime Minister, Home Minister, Health Minister, Ministry of Health, that so-and-so admitted at so-and-so place needs ICU beds, his SpO2 level is 55. And I know for sure that how in no time the ventilator is arranged. So Bhagwan has actually bestowed on us this. But do we believe it? Even for that matter, Bhagwan had created Maya when Pavan Sut Hanuman had forgotten his prowess. But then that is Bhagwan's Leela. So I would say, if not now, when? If we don't dedicate ourselves 100% to Bhagwan's work, now at this stage, then when else? This is the time. And this is where Bhagwan said that golden age will be when you people go and just dedicate yourselves completely to the humanity. I remember 29th April 2021, this year, when I prayed to Bhagwan that Bhagwan, I want to set up a free COVID hospital, 50 bedded. I had nothing on me. There was curfew, lockdown completely here. But I know that within next 10 days, 143 items, including oxygen, beds, mattresses, whatnot, name it, they were provided in the hospital. And how? As Bhagwan's students, we are not supposed to make appeals for funds, donations. But I know how Bhagwan took over the task. Maybe you are right that some of us were not even sleeping, making fervent and persistent prayers to Bhagwan all through. But we know for sure that it is Bhagwan that who was doing it. So the question is this, that please excuse me, I'll have to just extremely sorry for the interruption. So when we pray, Bhagwan automatically acts. He automatically gives. And I cannot quote a better illustration, a better example, a better flowing of grace right in front of our eyes than what has recently happened, I would say, in my life. Because it is Bhagwan's belief, it is Bhagwan's glory, it is Bhagwan's show, it is his plan all through that is working. But then the question would be again, are we in a position to believe it? Can we countenance it that yes, it is happening? And it will happen. Why not? That is why I would say humbly that so many of our sisters and brothers, we are working in a very concerted and sincere manner for the next project for widows and orphans who have been adversely affected by COVID. I'm sure that this thought which has come to all of us has been given to us by Bhagwan, and he's the one who's going to create a lifeline, such a wonderful plan that will unfold in front of our eyes in the times to come, not too far from here. So this glory of Bhagwan, we cannot relate in words. We cannot, even state in so many words. I remember when this project was conceived on 29th April, my entire family, my friend circle, friends who had been my friends for last 31 years, my colleagues, they all revolted. They said, you are working on Bhagwan's mission for last so many years, more than 3 decades. Where is the need for you to jump into the sea? Do you know what a COVID hospital is? Do you know what a hospital is with oxygen facilities? From where will you arrange cylinders? They're not available. I remember each and every smallest thing which we were looking here and there was coming at a premium, not ordinary premium. Things were not working out. Everything was under lockdown, one. And we saw around us such an unprecedented rush that everybody was trying to acquire or hoard things. To arrange for me initially 20 cylinders, about 30 concentrators, to start the project in itself was a Herculean task. But I have seen His grace unfolding right in front of my eyes. We all know sometimes that when we plan, I'm using the word we plan, many times things don't go the way it should. Because Bhagwan has said, prayer always has an effect, though it may not have the effect which you thought. So when we think, then there is no prayer. That's only a thought. Prayer cannot have an expectation of result. Similarly, whenever we work, first thing is, it's not we who are working on Bhagwan's work. It is He who is granting this to us. And once He has granted to us, He will make sure that it happens. I can tell you, there is a question just now in the chat box. A small incident of 1996. When we set up this school, free school, we wanted the affiliation of the board. We went to the board. They raised more than 35 objections on our file. Our rooms were extraordinarily big. But when we went there, they said, your rooms are small. I said, why? They said, no, your rooms would have 80 students. I said, no, sir. Our rooms would have only maximum 27 or 30 students. They said, no. Once we are giving you sanction, we give you sanction for 80 students. So your room must be far bigger than what it is. Such kind of all uncanny objections were raised. And when we went through those objections, we found it was virtually impossible for us to fulfill those objections and to comply with them. There were 3 elderly ladies, including my mother. They asked us that please give this file to us. We'll get the work done. 3 of them, that office of education department was on the 4th floor, about 77 stairs to be climbed. These 3 elderly ladies took it upon themselves every day with the file. They would go to the dealing person, just sit in front of him, silently start chanting Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. For 4 or 5 hours, it continued for 4 days. 5th day, my mother went. She is diabetic, she is hypertensive. She climbed the stairs, but unfortunately, she felt unconscious while climbing the stairs. Immediately, there was pandemonium. Everybody was worried. Who's this lady? Why is she coming? What has happened? And the dealing clerk got a fear of his life. He immediately took the file and cleared it. He said, sorry, ma'am, you don't have to come again. Well, we all know these incidents occur in our lives because Bhagwan's work will never stop. His mission is that service to humanity is actually service to divinity. But the question is this, which I must ask myself repeatedly. Where am I fitting in? Bhagwan has said so many times, I have to be like the flute, which allows itself to be touched on Bhagwan's lips. And when he blows into it, it allows unhindered passage, which results in the divine music. So are we allowing ourselves to be Bhagwan's flute? If that is so, then we need not to ask any questions. That is why Bhagwan says that when I say you are near and dear to me, that means you yourself are not there. What is there in front of you, what is there behind you, what's there around you is only Sai, nothing else. I'll just digress a bit and try to take you to another field, because after all, Bhagwan said, you are my students. You are not meant for monasteries, forests. You are meant to serve in the society. As Bhagwan has been saying, heads in the forest, hands in the society. All of us have our professional careers. I'll share something with you. In 2014, I was designated as Additional Advocate General of Haryana, which is one of the highest law officer position in Haryana, or in any state for that matter, for which normal channel is so-called political channel. One has to stand in queues, maybe put his head in the feet of some so-called masters, and so many other things. But such a position came to me just like that. Well, I am not proud of that. But what I say, Bhagwan takes over our lives. Once Bhagwan takes over our lives, then nothing else remains. He will make sure that we reach where he wants us to reach. This requires no proof. This is enough in itself, because we all remember that when we were studying there, भगवान used to say, तुम मुझको बोलते हो कि तुम अनाथ हो, तुम अनाथ नहीं हो, अनाथ तो मैं हूं, मेरा तो कोई नहीं है, there is no one who is mine, तुम्हारा तो मैं हूं, I am yours, who is mine? I am ready always. At the door of your heart, knocking, you are not opening the door. When did you open the door to me? So that is the issue in front of us. Have we completely opened the doors to Bhagwan, or we are still holding on to the door or the latch? I would say that let us have a firm resolve in us that Bhagwan is there. When Bhagwan is there, nothing else is required. And I would not say that one who is working on Bhagwan's path will become a recluse, will become a monk, he will give up his family, he'll give up his social responsibilities. No. Because Bhagwan's students, Bhagwan's beings, they are part of the social system. Therefore, let us not encounter this feeling that if we carry out Bhagwan's work completely, dedicatedly, without any thought, then who else will take care of our families, our professions? Who else? Bhagwan himself. And when I was interacting, rather we were interacting, all alumni during Prem Bandhanam, so many of us were able to recount those experiences, how Bhagwan had taken over our businesses, our professions, our jobs, our positions, and had sanctified them. So all I can say is that this is the 96th birthday of Bhagwan in the current year. And I had read somewhere that Bhagwan had declared that he would be staying physically till the 96th year. Let us believe that he is there with all of us. His Sannidhi is there with all of us. Let us not believe that he has gone physically. No, no. I see Bhagwan physically. We all see Bhagwan physically. Let's not believe that he is omnipresent only. He is present. He is present with us, very much with us. His hand is always there on our shoulders. if with this thought and belief we do any work, that work is going to be Sai's work, and Sai will make it sure that it meets the end which is desired by him himself. With that thought, I would like to say that when Bhagwan says surrender, let us taste the fruit of surrender and then take up the task. And then we will believe that yes, Sai has taken it. Sai Ram. So some questions have come. All right, one incident I would like to narrate during our classroom sessions. Once Bhagwan came to our management class, and that day on the blackboard, word ZBB was written. So Bhagwan was going to ask us, hey, kya pad raha hai? So looking at word ZBB, he said, what is ZBB? So we all said, Bhagwan, ZBB means zero-based budgeting. Then Bhagwan said, I will teach you ZBB today. So we were very happy that Bhagwan is going to teach us ZBB. Do you know what is ZBB? ZBB is zero-based bhakti. And then Bhagwan went on to elaborate this new management concept. He said, zero-based budgeting is, I have 10 rupees in my pocket when I get up in the morning, but I have 100 rupees to spend on various liabilities. If I get confused how to meet the liabilities worth 100 rupees, I'll not be able to spend 10 rupees wisely. So best thing is spend 10 rupees wisely and rest all will follow. So ZBB means start as a zero-based budget, meaning thereby I have 10 rupees, I want to spend 10 rupees properly. Now come to zero-based bhakti. Every morning, Bhagwan said, when you get up, every morning when you get up, just imagine it is your new birth. You are born now, today. You don't know yesterday what happened. Start fresh. Dedicate yourselves to Bhagwan. Say, Bhagwan, I am born today. Please bless me today. Forget about the past. What you did yesterday, you harmed somebody, you thought ill of somebody, you spoke wrongly to somebody, somebody spoke wrongly to you. Forget all that. Every day start afresh. Your life will be full of prema. Your life will be full of love when you start every day afresh. So this is one of the things, which came as a live classroom session from us. Well, in my professional career, I had so many challenges. One of the questions which has come in the chat box. I was once visited by a lady who had lost her husband and son in a very tragic accident few days back, and just ahead of the marriage of her daughter. So her family was in disarray. She herself was completely broken. She said, sir, I have a house. However, the house was in my husband's name. My husband has left behind his mother, myself, and my daughter. The house will go to 3 shares. My mother-in-law is definitely going to give her share to my sister-in-law, and who will come and disrupt our lives. So I have the blank signed sheets of my husband. Here are they. Can you scribe a will on behalf of my husband in my favor on these blank sheets? The way she narrated, I was taken aback. I retained those sheets for the night. Next morning, I called her and I very respectfully told her, I said, ma'am, sorry, I cannot represent you. Because according to me, this amounts to cheating and forgery. I will not be able to do it. So please, you may have to engage someone else. Then she says, no, sir, please, we want to engage you only. Can you tell us, what will you do? I said, ma'am, I will fight your case in a righteous manner. What I will do is I'll take these sheets and present before the judge. I will tell the judge that my client is truthful. She has not misused these sheets. And then I'll fight this case to the best of my ability. And I'm sure God will help me. And when we fought, what we found was that other side also perpetrated a false will. And when the judge was hearing that case, one of the witnesses of the other will, he came to depose in the court. And the moment he saw me, he said, sorry, sir, I will not be able to lie in the court. I will state what is the truth. This will is forged. This got executed after the death of the mother-in-law. So he made a statement to this effect. And eventually the judge said, this is a fit case which the property should go to your client. So what I want to say, that when Bhagwan says, you have to follow the righteous path, we will always follow the righteous path, come what may. We will not swerve even an inch from Bhagwan's word. That is why Bhagwan said, because I remember he gave me new meaning of LLB. He said LLB means live and love Baba. If you live on my words, then you love me. So we have to live on his words. If we do that, then Bhagwan is going to take over. I'm not able to see any other questions, brother.
Yeah, we are right at the top of the hour. Brother Amar, it was fantastic. Vinod, you're back on?
Yeah, please go ahead, Brother Venkat. Yeah,
No.
fantastic session. Absolutely wonderful as always listening to you, Brother Amar. So, I think all of us truly, thoroughly enjoyed listening to every bit of it. So much of learning. I mean, you've been an inspiration for multiple generations of students, those following you. And for you, I think the big advantage of having been in one of the early batches of MBA, where Swami has also been personally guiding all the students, right? That's been remarkable. So truly, and I'm sure that, Swami must be looking proudly and saying, yes, Hamara Vivek, like you rightly pointed out. So I'm sure that, we also feel privileged to say Hamara Vivek, brothers. So thank you so much for being such an inspiration for so many generations of Sai students. Yeah, Brother Venkat, you wanted to add something? Please go ahead.
No. Sure. This was fantastic, Amar. Every single time we listen to the stories from you, we learn something new. And today it was pretty strong. One thing that I take away very strongly from this session is when Swami said, I'm in you, around you, above you, below you. And, so many times in every single Prema Bandham, we go back and connect with him. I think all it translates to is point that if you pray for something and then it is genuine, it is going to be granted. And, we should take it as our privilege and make sure that, we're applying it as required for the larger purpose. And beautifully narrated, the incident of how you went ahead and set up the COVID care center, in spite of not everybody kind of being with you. And then you strongly felt that, there's a need and you have to fill in as a Sai student. And each of these is absolute gold. And thanks a ton for taking time to detail so much for us, Brother Amar.
Sai Ram, brother. Sai Ram, sister.
Sairam, everyone, and we've also shared some details of what Brother Amar is doing in Chandigarh and so on. So, in case any of you is further interested, more than happy to share those details so that you can continue to understand what's about the phenomenal work that is being undertaken there, and continue to be involved. Yeah, brother, we usually close this session with Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu, Om Shanti and Jai Bolo. Would be, I think, appropriate if you read it, Brother Amar Vivek, please.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
Jai. Thanks again, everybody, for making it. Sai Ram.
Right.